Happy Monday, my friends. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I totally forgot to put myself in the show, man. I have a case on the Mondays.
Listen, man, I was about to say, am I taking this? Am I going to have to get my Nick Burleson on and do this for you?
But yeah, I'm David Huffman right there. Is our good friend and brother from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. We're going to be breaking down week 7 so far in the National Football League. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. If you guys bring you guys daily content, and if you want to watch any of Christian's stuff, go over to dailyblitz.blog and go check out some of his content, including Monday Evening Quarterback, which should be live or will be live here shortly.
It will be. I just got it right now. So right after I'm done contributing for the Prime, I will post it on the site. But like I always say, man, David on point. Since he's family, he gets to see the first step. He gets to see it first. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Let's just jump right into it without further ado. Let's talk about week number 7 in the NFL, which also cost me my survivor pick. Thank you very much, Buffalo.
David, I will get to them because I'm about to go in on them. But let's start with the first.
Let's talk about first. If we got week number 7, we start in the Bayou with the New Orleans Saints holding the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence escapes with a 31-24 victory as Foster Moreau couldn't reel in the game tying touchdown. There is basically the horn. Jacksonville passing. Trevor Lawrence very, very efficient. 20 of 29 for 204 yards and a touchdown. He was also this team's leading rusher. Not sure how much I love that, but Travis Etienne did have 2 rushing touchdowns in this game, and Christian Kirk had a 44-yard touchdown. They actually ended up winning the game-winning touchdown. Derek Carr, talk about a tale of 2 halves. Absolutely abysmal in the first half. Really turned it on in the second half. Threw the ball 55 times in this game, threw a touchdown and a pick. Alvin Kamara, probably his best game since he returned from suspension. At 17 for 62, he also led the team in receiving. He had 12 catches in this game for 91 yards.
Yeah, gutsy win, a gritty win for Jacksonville, and this is finally the first time that Trevor Lawrence has won at the Superdome. You know, the 2 games he lost in college, he lost them both at the Superdome with Clemson in the national championship and in the college football playoff against Ohio State. I'm disappointed in the Saints because I thought they'd be a whole lot better than what they were. They came into this season, David, with the best roster on paper, and Tampa's outplayed them. I mean, Tampa just
in the NFL or just in the South?
In the NFC.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. I'm not sure that's saying a lot, but
no, it's not. But you thought they kind of fixed their issues at quarterback, signing a veteran in Derek Carr, and it's tough to replace a guy who is going to be a future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. And I don't know if Dennis Allen is the right guy.
He is not the right guy.
He's not the right guy for this job, but they almost came back in this game. And look, I feel so bad for Foster Moreau. He had that ball. That ball hit him right in the palms, and then he just dropped it. That's a game-tying touchdown. You get your team back in the game if you score that, and if you hold on to that ball. But
real quick, welcome in TJ into the show. Continue your thought, Christian. Go ahead, Christian. Christian, go ahead. Hello? What happened, Christian? I didn't mute you. Can you hear me? You can't. Hold on. No, my mic is still working. I'm not sure what just happened here. Hello? Hello. DJ, you there? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was dropped for some reason. I don't know what the hell that was.
Hear me?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Continue your thought. Welcome in co-host TJ Hopkins into the show. Continue your thought.
Nah, we can't hear him again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with I don't know if it's on your end or it's on our end, Christian. But yeah, I'm having trouble hearing you. But yeah, I think, Foster Moreau, obviously, big story in the offseason. Obviously, his cancer's in remission. Love to hear that. You hate to see him drop a touchdown in this game. Yeah, but the Saints, try to come back. If you play terrible, if you don't play terrible in the first half, probably win this game. Kudos to Jacksonville. This is a good win for them. TJ.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what's going on with the Saints offensively. I don't. It's frustrating to watch. You thought that getting Derek Carr would kind of fix the little issues that you did have, but I think the issues are bigger than him because you get to the red zone and it's terrible. You don't capitalize, and you kind of saw what the offense needed. Like when they kind of went up tempo, it was Derek Carr is making reads, he's making the throws he needs to make, the offense is moving, and then when you slow the game down, it's almost like it's two different teams. The resiliency factor in this was it looked like it was going to be a Jacksonville blowout. Like they was going to run away with it. And then you fight back, and then you're a touchdown away. And I understand Moreau his story has gotten a bit bigger because he beat cancer and all that other good stuff. But in that moment, at that time, no one cared about that. As inhumane as that sound, that ball hit you in your hands.
Yeah, you got to catch it. But
you got to catch that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as inhumane as that sounds, because I saw some of the comments like, "Oh, he beat cancer," da 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 da, and people countered with, "Yeah, he's not battling anymore. That's who cares? Like he's here, he's healthy. Catch the damn ball. Do your job."
Yeah, you got to catch that football. I mean, it's hit you in the hands. But yeah, you got to catch that football. Let's move on from Thursday night football. Let's talk about Sunday. First game on the docket there is one that's near and dear to me and TJ's heart. We got the Chicago Bears beating down Las Vegas 30-12. I was driving home from Ohio during this game, so I wasn't able to really watch it. But Brian Hoyer, not a good game. He threw a pick six in this. 17 of 32, 129 yards and 2 picks. Aiden O'Connell, not any better. 1 touchdown and a pick. I think Aiden O'Connell started and Brian Hoyer came in, or I'm not sure how that worked out. Josh Jacobs, 11 of 32, 35, continues to have just kind of a mess season. Jacoby Myers continues to have a really strong season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Gets in the end zone again in this game. On the Bears side of this, Tyson Bagent get his first career start and his first career victory in the National Football League. Also was very efficient in this game as they kind of dumbed down the offense a little bit for Chicago. 21 of 29 with a touchdown. Deontay Foreman, man, 16 carries for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns, running it at 5.6 yards a clip. DJ Moore, 8 for 54, and Deontay Foreman had the lone receiving touchdown. Not really known as a receiving back, but 3 catches in this game for him.
Yeah, he dominated the line of scrimmage yesterday in both phases of the game as a runner and as you just mentioned as a receiver. But yeah, this is probably the best I think I've seen the Bears look all year. And I know they won that game against Washington, but defensively, they were able to contain the Raiders. What'd you say?
It was a complete game.
Yeah, exactly. TJ said it best. It was a complete game on both ends. Coaching did its part. They catered to the quarterback. Yeah, just a good win for the Bears.
TJ.
And it didn't take long for the talk to happen. And it's, do we have a QB controversy in Chicago? No, we don't. That's the wrong question. We have a Luke Getsy controversy. Because I saw more ingenuity and more creativity yesterday than I've ever seen with Fields. Justin Fields is in the game. I don't see reverses to the receivers getting in the run game. I don't see that kind of creativity being called by Luke Getsy. It's predictable read options. It's predictable RPOs. It's calling plays that makes no sense by Luke Getsy. And it's almost like he utilized what Tyson Bagent does well versus trying to turn him into what he's not. And again, so kill all the QB controversy talk. Why? Because it's one game. right? It's the Raiders.
Against a terrible Raiders team. Let's call it what it is. Like, it's not, especially without their starting quarterback either.
It's one game. It's the Raiders. I will say, like, the positives in this is Max Crosby had minimal impact. He had maybe one sack, maybe one tackle for loss. Right. Devontae Adams was kept out of the end zone. Right, that was huge. He had a touchdown pass that he should have caught. That 9 times out of 10 he does catch, and thank God this was the one time out of that 9 that he dropped it. Jalen Johnson had him 2 picks, and Brian Hoyer got the start, and then they brought in Aiden O'Connell for the long touchdown drive that they got. But by that point, game was over. Yeah, like it's they always trying to spin the clickbait, like they photoshopping, they taking still shots of Justin Fields not smiling on the sideline, trying to make it seem like he's unhappy with the success that the team had yesterday, and it's just like, why do y'all do that? Like, what point do y'all get out of clickbait? Like, instead of letting this kid have his moment, have his cup of tea, have his 15 minutes of fame or whatever, however long it's going to last, y'all would rather paint Justin Fields to be this type of villain that we all know he's not, instead of being like, hey, good game plan. Let's see if it carries over next week against the Chargers, who have a way better defense than the Raiders.
Well, based on what I saw on Sunday, they may not. Moving on from this game, let's talk about Cleveland going into Indy and pulling out the rabbit out of the hat for 2 weeks in a row as they beat the Indianapolis Colts 39-38. Deshaun Watson got injured in the first quarter, did not return to this game. PJ Walker came in 15-32, 178 yards and a touch and a pick. Jerome Ford, shout out to Jerome Ford, 11 carries for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt had 2 rushing touchdowns in this game, including the game winner. Elijah Moore, 459, leading receiver. Gardner Minshew in the Minshew Mania, 15-23, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jonathan Taylor got into the end zone for the first time this year. Gardner Minshew also had 2 rushing touchdowns for this team. Joshua Downs, Michael Pittman Jr. all had receiving touchdowns in this game, as the Colts could not hold on to this victory with some help from the refs as well, as they lose this game 39-38. Gardner Minshew did have 3 fumbles in this game as well.
Well, this was not a good game for that officiating crew at all.
I mean that DPI was just like one of the worst. Like, that ball was clearly uncatchable, and there's no that one. Right, I don't have as much a problem with the illegal contact call as I do with that DPI. Like, it was just not a good call.
I heard during the telecast of this game, I think it was James Lofton, and he said not even Calvin Johnson could go up and get that ball.
Yeah. Like, the ball there was no human being on the planet could catch that football.
Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. And I think at this point, when are we going to start holding? When are we going to start holding these officials accountable? Because unfortunately, they're coming in between what determines a football game.
Yeah, it's just, we'll get to the night game. But there was a moment in the Bears-Raiders game where the ref did what he was supposed to do. He called it a touchdown, and all scoring plays are reviewed. But I don't know what you saw on that Josh Jacobs catch that made you think it was a touchdown when that right foot clearly was out of bounds. Like, it was clear as day that it was out of bounds. In this game, what was it? PJ Walker was clearly throwing that ball out the back of the end zone. Like, it was 10 feet in the air. Now, unless you superhuman or Super Saiyan or Superman, I don't expect the average human being to be able to jump 10 feet in the air and come down with that ball. That's not what's going to happen here. But
with that being said, I mean the Colts were up in this game, and it took a gritty performance by the Cleveland Browns to not just, like, your quarterback goes out early in the first quarter, you get down early quick, and you come back and win the game.
They could have came back in. Like, they kept them out for precautionary reasons. But I'm with you, David. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Browns in this comeback. I'm really not. I'm not gonna allow two bad calls to bless you. I'm
Thank you.
not gonna allow two bad calls to take away the effort and the grittiness of that comeback. Colts fans may want to blame those two bad calls. You do that to your heart's desire. But at the end of the day, you had a lead. You had a lead, and you blew it. You were I don't even know what the I forgot what the score was before they got that last touchdown. But it was seconds left, wasn't it? It was like mere seconds. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
even.
yeah. It was 15 seconds left when
It was,
they scored that final touchdown. It was 15 seconds left in the game.
so
I
it's
mean, the
just
Colts were up at one point in this game. One point in this game, they were up. I guess they were never really up that much. I mean, they were up.
Yeah, it was really a back and forth game, if you think about it.
It was a pretty close game for most of it. Not a great day for this defense either. I know Myles Garrett did wreck shop for most of the game.
well, that's Myles Garrett. That's Myles Garrett doing Myles Garrett things, and
In the running for
running for defense player. Y'all saw how he blocked that field goal, man. It's just
two sacks, 9 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He also forced that fumble to turn into a touchdown in the end zone. So,
like again, when you got a grown man doing crossover moves before blitzing you, and it's just like, first off, I'm gonna take offense to that. You ain't gonna do no fake crossover while you wait for the ball to get. And it was 38-35. It was 38-33 when Michael Pittman got that 75-yard touchdown. So it's like you're up 5 with basically five and a half minutes left. This is legit one of those like, hey, line in the sand. We get one more stop, and we walk away with this W. That's what that was, and unfortunately, it didn't go down that way. So,
moving on from this game, we do talk about the battle in the AFC East. We got the Buffalo Bills going into Foxborough, and Bill Belichick checking in at the door, beating them 29-25. Josh Allen, man, 27-41, 265, 2 touchdowns and a pick. James Cook leading rusher for this team, but Josh Allen had the lone rushing touchdown for this team. Dalton Kincaid had his best game as a pro by far, 8 for 75. James Cook and Stephon Diggs both had receiving touchdowns for this team. Mac Jones bounced back in a big way from 2 abysmal performances for a very efficient performance here. 25 of 30, 272 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson, 9 for 34. Zeke Elliott, first touchdown as a Patriot. Kendrick Bourne and Mike Gesicki had the receiving touchdowns, including the game winner for Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder, who are the Buffalo Bills? Is this the team that we saw bounce back in a strong and consistent way after the Week 1 loss to the Jets, or are they who we've seen the last 3 games? Because they got punched in the mouth in Jacksonville. They played down to the Giants on Sunday Night Football last weekend, and they get bullied by the Patriots here. And I just think, they're reverting back to being the Bills of old, having Josh Allen do everything, defense struggling to get off the field, and they miss Matt Milano. He was the man in the middle of that defense, and his presence definitely makes all the difference. It's tough to replace a guy.
So Josh Allen threw the ball 41 times in this game. He ran the ball 7 other times. So out of what is this math here? So this is 17 plus 48. So of the I can't do the math right now in my head. I'm sorry. I'm a journalist, not a mathematician. But Josh Allen was like involved in over 75% of the plays for the Buffalo offense. It's too much Josh Allen. Like, he's a great football player, but take the pressure off the guy a little, man. Come on.
This is what I'm always talking about. I almost sound like a broken record player every time I say it. They depend on that man to bail them out every single time. Go back to playing the football that you played against Miami. Playing physical, playing downhill, running the football. But it also didn't help that his offensive line was absolute basuda the other day. Yesterday, because he was sacked once, but he never really had time to stand back in the pocket and make a throw because he's running for his life 9 times out of 10.
his defense was too. Like, all right, everybody clowning Josh Allen and whatnot. And hold on, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Allen did lead a go-ahead drive with 1:58 left, right? He did do that, right? He did that, right?
He put this team in position to win the game.
He put the team on his back, right? He did
did.
that. Am I right?
He did the Greg Jennings. He did the Greg Jennings.
Yeah. So how is it his fault that his defense gave up a hold on, how long of a pass play that was for when the Patriots got the ball back?
Hold on a second.
When what was it? Ramondre Stevenson called a 34-yard pass, and he just ran down the sideline untouched before they finally got to him.
25 yards to Hunter Henry. Yeah, that's got to be the play you're talking about.
No, it was not.
Or the one to Ramondre Stevenson for 34 yards.
I just said Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with that ain't got nothing to do with Josh Allen.
TJ,
the defense let them down.
Let me say this too. Blaming the quarterback unfortunately is always going to be the scapegoat because that's the easy thing to do. Yeah, all the quarterback can do is put you in a position to push you up, and hopefully, you as a defense can secure the lead. So it's not his fault that they couldn't hold the lead.
It's not his. It's not, and not only that, the defense had some on that same 2-minute drive. Defense gave Mac Jones some free yards. Why? Penalties, a DPI, offsides, and this is like, yeah, and the end result was a Mike Gesicki gritty, a game-winning gritty. You got gritty by Mike Gesicki.
That was gritty.
It was his gritty.
Moving on from this game, we're swinging from the AFC East to the NFC East, and we got how about an offensive juggernaut here. New York Football Giants win this game by a score of 14-7. Sam Howell, 22 of 42, 249 yards and 1 pick. Chris Rodriguez Jr. was the leading rusher for the Washington Commanders. But Brian Robinson Jr. had the lone rushing. I have no idea. Totally honest with you. Scary Terry, leading receiver for the Washington Commanders. On the other side, Tyrod Taylor, 2 weeks in a row, played well 2 weeks in a row. 18 of 29, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. They did have 4 sacks in this game, but Washington gave up 6. Saquon Barkley, 21 of 77. Darren Waller, probably his best game as a Giant, 7 for 98 and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley also had a receiving touchdown in this game. And if you're not seeing the soundbite by Jonathan Allen after this game, you should go check it out because I'm surprised they aired it on Football Night in America. You know, honestly, like
I'm just
surprised.
Well, what was he wearing? That's what I need to know.
He was wearing a do. He pulled one of your numbers. He was wearing a do-rag with no waves.
You know you need to stop.
But hey, Ryan Clark was on Get Up this morning, and they talked about that, and he was all like, first off, y'all see the fit? That man is wearing a do-rag with a chain with the shirt open. That is an outfit of no F's are given. And the last time I checked, Jonathan Allen ain't got no waves. So yeah, Jonathan Allen was basically sending a message to his team like he's one of the longest tenured. He's one of the longest tenured commanders, right? He's probably been there. What? 7 years?
Yeah,
give or take a year or two.
He might be the longest tenured player on the team right now.
That's what I'm saying. And after a while, it's like when all you know, like you get tired of losing. Let's be honest. Like let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. It has not been there has been more failures than triumphs in Washington, and you get tired of it. This was a game. No offense, Christian. This was a game they should have won. This was a game they should have won. This Giants defense is not 7 points good. Like holding the team to 7 points. They're not that good.
They gave up 6 sacks in the game.
Like, yeah, come on. Like, first off, Who's generating that much pressure on the Giants for you to be like, hey, worry about him? I like Leonard Williams. I really do. I like. Did Leonard Williams have any one of those 6 sacks? Maybe one.
Hold on.
Like Kayvon Thibodeau, a sack and a half. Dexter Lawrence had 2.
Leonard Williams had 1.
Leonard Williams had 1. All right. So Kayvon Thibodeau had a sack and a half. He coming off the edge. Dexter Lawrence, it took him.
On top of that, yeah, they had 12 quarterback hits on top of the 6 sacks.
Like, come on now. Like again, like they got some dudes on their Giants defense, but at the same time, it's like really, y'all held a team to 7 points. Really, a team with Scary Terry, Logan Thomas, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel. Like, really,
yeah,
really.
Christian,
Come on now,
thoughts?
really.
This is a tough win for the Giants.
I'm sorry if that was disrespectful. Hey.
I get it, but this is a tough win. This is a tough win for the Giants, and I think the ball moves better up the field with Tyrod Taylor under center. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Like, he can move the pocket.
This team has played just general plays harder when Tyrod Taylor's in the game.
Yeah, and look, I'm a firm believer. I tell TJ this all the time off the mic. I'm a firm believer in sticking with the hand that's hot. So if they can go on a winning streak, and it's because of Tyrod Taylor, you keep that $50 million man's ass on the sideline. Plain and simple.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the NFC South. We got the Atlanta Falcons going into Raymond James Stadium and coming out with the victory. A Younghoe Koo field goal at basically the horn, 16-13 as they win this game. Desmond Ridder did not make a mistake in this game. 19-25 for 250 yards and a touchdown. And he did have 3 fumbles. My bad. Tyler Algier, 21 carries, 59 yards. Desmond Ridder also had a rushing touchdown. Bijan Robinson had 1 carry and then was injured in this game, did not return. Drake London, 6 for 54. Baker Mayfield, 27-42, 275, a touchdown and a pick. Rashad White, 13-34. Mike Evans, 6 for 82 and a touchdown.
They are winning in spite of Desmond Ridder at this point. He fumbled 3 times and he lost all 3 of them. One of them out of the end zone. And that's more of an effort part on, I think that was Antoine Winfield who punched that ball out. That was more of an effort part on Antoine Winfield's part. This game should, if you're the Falcons, you're looking at it like this. If he runs that touchdown in, this game doesn't come down. We don't need a walk-off field goal to win this game because we're up 7. All right? And if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on the flip side, it's, again, like, their best player was a non-factor. You lost this game to a team that gave their best player 1 carry for 3 yards. Total non-factor. That's who you lost to. Bijan Robinson's name wasn't heard until the last drive of the game. 1 carry for 3 yards. That was so bad that the NFL is literally investigating the Falcons as to why he only got 1 carry. You lost that game. Tampa Bay. You lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
Christian.
Embarrassing.
This is a bad loss for Tampa Bay. They had a chance to really take control of the NFC South, and they let it slip from their hands. Yeah, Tampa's defense did everything, but this wasn't a good day for Baker Mayfield. I know he threw what, 1 interception, right?
To 1, and apparently it was a real bad one because I ain't really.
Yeah, it was a bad one. Yeah, because he threw it. He completely overthrew his guy, and it just seemed like every time Tampa was in a red zone, Atlanta clamped down and made a stop defensively.
Moving on from this game. Moving on to this game.
Go ahead.
We got basically the only blowout of the day. We got the Baltimore Ravens hanging up 38 points on the Detroit Lions as they only were muster up 6 points, and it was only in the 4th quarter. Jared Goff, by far his worst game of the season, 33 of 53, 284 yards and a pick. Jahmyr Gibbs, good to see him back in the lineup, 11 for 68 and a touchdown. The Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, goes over the century mark, 13 of 101. Lamar Jackson was simply outstanding in this game, 21 of 27, 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson both had rushing touchdowns. Mark Andrews had 2. Nelson Aguilar had a touchdown. Everybody getting touchdowns for the Baltimore Ravens in this game as they just handed the Lions their worst loss of the season.
If you get a chance, look at the rushing touchdown Lamar Jackson had. Don't look at him. Look at Ronnie Stanley. When you get a chance, don't look at Lamar. Look at Ronnie Stanley because Big Homie was mad. He was real mad, and I feel sorry for the Lions DB that was in the way of Ronnie Stanley. Like that was just unfortunate timing because that man had a family. Ronnie Stanley, that was not nice. He trying to pay bills just like you trying to pay bills. But that being said, all I heard, because I don't know if y'all watch First Take them like I do or listen to them like I do. They on First Take and they on Speak and they on Undisputed and they like, hey, which quarterback do you trust the most between Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff? And I'm like, are y'all serious right now?
Lamar Jackson has an MVP.
That's the question. Like, what? Like, who do you trust the most?
I mean, but in the quote unquote media's defense, Lamar Jackson's been kind of up and down. It's been extremely up and down this season. I mean, Jared Goff's having a better season.
No. That's his fault that he throw a pass and it hit Zay Flowers in the hands and he dropped it. That's his fault.
No, that's not his fault. No, but I get what David's saying because look, Lamar's been unreliable.
Oh my God, that block!
Yeah. He hasn't played a full season.
He saw the block. He saw the block.
Sorry, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I get where TJ's coming from, and I get where David's coming from because look,
Lamar
yesterday
Jackson
was
had
the best.
Mind, folks.
Listen, yesterday was the best that I've seen Lamar look in quite some time, and that touchdown he threw to Nelson Aguilar. Lamar maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he's running that ball, but he was patient. He moved with the pocket. He let his receiver get open. He let the play further develop, and he was able to fling that ball. But yeah, it's just a great. It's a great all around win for the Ravens because they did it offensively.
Lamar had to remind people.
Yeah,
Lamar
he did.
He had to remind folks.
Anytime, and anytime I bash Lamar, I get told to watch the games. But you know what? I'm gonna keep it.
But hey, no, but real talk. Like the one thing this did tell me was, well, specifically to Lions fans, like, hey, yo, it's levels to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is levels to this. Like, you finally played a team that was fully loaded. Everybody's ear. The Ravens ain't missing nobody. Not a key. Nobody. Roquan was there. Marlette was there. Kyle Hamilton was there. Patrick Queen, Vandal, they were Marlon Humphrey. They were loaded, top to bottom. And you came in and this offense that we have been lauding over, like Ben Johnson, finna make some team very lucky. He's finna be a head coach. You go in, you get 6 points. First off, Jared Goff threw the ball 53 times. 53 back in his Rams days. It looked like that's what it looked like. 53 times, 284 yards, sacked 5 times. This offense, like David talks about the offensive line all the time. Sacked 5 times. That's probably the most he's been sacked since he's been in Detroit.
100%. Moving on from this game, let's talk about the late window, and we're going to talk about Jared Goff's former team falling to the Pittsburgh Steelers at beautiful SoFi Stadium, 24-17. Kenny Pickett, 17-25, 230 yards. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren also both had rushing touchdowns, and also Kenny Pickett had a rushing touchdown. George Pickens were over the century mark with 107 yards receiving. Matthew Stafford, 14-29, 231 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Darrell Henderson Jr. got the start at the running back position. He also had the rushing touchdown. and Tutu Atwell caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Rams as they fall in this game 24-7. Move a little bit faster through these PM games because we got the kickoff of Monday Night Football in just about 12 minutes. So,
David, where's it going? Anyway, another ref controversy in this one. Kenny Pickett was short.
Yeah, he was.
He was
He
short.
definitely was.
He was 100% short. And it goes back to what Christian said. Refs are getting to the point where they are deciding the outcome of games. This was one of them. Kenny Pickett was absolutely 100% short, and I expect the NFL to release some. They got to say something because this was bad. I don't know what they saw. Like I don't get it. I don't know what they saw for them to be like, hey, yeah, I'm convinced first down. Like that was terrible. And again, it's a bad look if the people at home and the people at the game can see that this player is clearly short, but you who are right there, you're right there on it. You have access to, you have viewpoints that we'll never get, and you still get it wrong. That's bad. Like you got folks like David, Christian, y'all know in baseball they calling for robot umps.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
They're asking for robotic umps because human error is too poor of an excuse to still be a cop out. You got folks now asking for robotic refs in football.
I just like the whole ref thing. Like I kind of wish they would just remove refs entirely and just have like the videos done viewing plays. And the other thing that I would also like to see removed, I would just like stop throwing holding flags. Like just it's enough. Like like we don't care if there's a little bit of hole, a little bit of tug here and there. Just who cares? Like it's getting ridiculous. I would like to see all calls in under 5 minutes being penalties and play calls every under 5 minutes. We'll get it. Make sure it's right. You have the power to get these right. There shouldn't still be errors in officiating.
Errors. Thank you. And that Tutu Atwell catch before the half, that was pretty nice.
Christian.
Yeah. Steelers did what they had to do. And it seems like every time we say this, when we talk about a Rams or a Chargers game, that was a home game for the opposing team. Those Steelers fans really showed out. Next game, man, ain't nothing else to say.
Moving on from this game, we're going to swing into the NFC West, where the Arizona Cardinals got doubled up by the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, 20-10. Joshua Dobbs, 19 of 33. Mario DiMarcardo, 13 for 58. Joshua Dobbs had a rushing touchdown in this game. Marquise Brown, leading receiver, 3 for 49. Geno Smith bounced back a little bit there after it was just an okay performance against the Cincinnati Bengals before the bye. 18-24, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Kenneth Walker goes over the century mark, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, first career, and Jake Bobo too. Both of them first for career NFL touchdowns for the Seattle Seahawks, as they're just the better team and they deserve to win this game.
I sent the Jake Bobo touchdown to the group chat, and the one thing I loved about that, outside of the catch itself, was the confidence that Jake Bobo had in the fact that, hey, no, I caught that. He flat out told the ref to his face, you missed that one. You missed that call. Like, both my feet were in. That's a touchdown. And lo and behold, they gave it to him, right? Yeah, touchdown.
Yep.
And the one thing I would like to see from the Seattle standpoint is you have a potential two-headed monster in that run game with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I would like to see Zach Charbonnet get some more touches. I don't know if he's hurt or not right now, but he looked like he didn't get anything yesterday. I understand Kenneth Walker, 26, 105.
Zach Charbonnet was injured. I don't think he played in this game.
Okay, but when he comes back, I would like to see even before he got injured, they weren't his carries were minimal at best. I would like to see them utilize that a lot more. That's just me though.
Christian.
Good win for Seattle. Handled their business. Divisional game. They got the Browns this upcoming week.
That's gonna be
Arizona. They play hard, but I think you're starting to see who they kind of really are now. But they're playing a lot better than I think a lot of people anticipated them to.
Yeah, they play tough. They play gritty. But yeah, there's not a lot of talent on that roster right now. Moving on from this game, we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers going into Mile High and falling to the Denver Broncos, 19-17. Jordan Love, another up and down game for him at the quarterback position, 21 of 31, 180 yards, touchdowns, and one interception. A.J. Dillon, leading rusher for the Green Bay Packers, 15 for 61. He was also the leading receiver for this team. Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs caught receiving touchdowns. Jaden Reed is quietly having a really solid rookie season at the wide receiver position. Russell Wilson, 20 of 29, 194 yards and a touchdown. Javonte Williams, 15 for 82. And Cortland Sutton caught the lone receiving touchdown as Denver beat Green Bay 19-17. Christian.
Wow, Denver actually did something. They actually closed the game out. They came back. They ended up getting an interception. Like, wow. Okay. These are growing pains right now with the Green Bay Packers. And this, I'm telling you, this team reminds me so much of that 08 team when Aaron Rodgers first came in. They started 6-10 that year, and you saw all the struggles then. And you're seeing that with this team right now, too. Put more around him, and they're going to be in great shape. For Denver, okay, you won a game. You won another game. Let's see you do it again.
Well, Green Bay is young in all the right places, especially offensively. Young QB, young receiving core, rookie tight end. I think with Bakhtiari out, you now have one of the youngest offensive lines in football. So yeah, you're young in all the right places. This was another quote unquote ref controversy because the touchdown to Romeo Doubs actually should have been ruled an interception. Gene Steratore said on the they did those little one of those little breakdowns, and Pat Surtain actually intercepted the ball. Both his feet landed, which thereby established control for him before Romeo Doubs got his two hands on the ball. Like that rule where it's a tie goes to the tie up goes to the receiver. Like no, it should be the tie up goes to whoever establishes possession first. So that should have been Jordan Love should have been the credit for 2 picks instead of the 1, and he got credit for a touchdown. But other than that, shout out to Denver for closing this game out. And yeah, Christian, you said this is just growing pains for Green Bay. It'll get better.
Yeah, that's all it is.
To the final game of the late afternoon window, we got the Los Angeles Chargers going into Arrowhead and once again coming up short against the Kansas City Chiefs as they lose 31-17. Justin Herbert, not his best game at the office, that's for damn sure. 17 of 30 for 259 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. One of them was in the fourth quarter, basically the game was over at that point. But the one at the red zone really hurt. I don't understand how he's 6'7". Yeah, he keeps to get passes botted down constantly. I just you think that happens to usually shorter quarterbacks, not somebody his stature. I don't understand how that constantly happens to him all the time. Joshua Kelly got the lone rushing touchdown for this team, and Gerald Everett caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Los Angeles Chargers. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes, another day at the office, a big game for him, 32 of 42. 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Isaiah Pacheco, 13 for 32, as they really didn't try to run the ball all that much. And Travis Kelce, another monster game, especially in the first half, 12 for 179 yards and a touchdown. And MVS, Rasheed Rice, Isaiah Pacheco, all had receiving touchdowns in this game.
I like what I'm seeing from Kansas City's defense. Because the offense hasn't really been what we're accustomed to seeing in previous years. So the defense and Isaiah Pacheco, they've been shouldering the load. McCole Hardman coming back. Watch David. He's going to become their number 1 wide receiver because he's familiar with the system. And he knows how to work with Patrick Mahomes more than any of those other weapons outside of Travis Kelce. The Chargers, they just, they kept it close for a while, but Kansas City just showed you, championship pedigree is one hell of a thing, and it kicked in when it had to. And I'm tired of Taylor Swift. This ain't Access Hollywood.
Me too. Man, their games are becoming almost unwatchable.
TJ, am I wrong?
Man, I'm tired of her and Pat Mahomes' wife, and bruh, it's gonna be, hey, it's getting to a point where it's like, hey, take a shot every time they show Taylor Swift or mention her. You're gonna be drunk
Man,
by the end of the
you'll be
first
blacked out by the first half.
like, right, you're gonna be drunk by the end of the first. You're gonna be blacked out by halftime. Like
Yeah.
this was, hey, Carter's kept this game was closer than a lot of people think. Like this was a back and forth game.
Yeah, I mean, if Justin Herbert doesn't throw that pick when they're in the red zone driving there, they tie that game up.
They tie the game up.
Yeah,
and so yeah, this, and it's always like that's the case with the Chargers and the Chiefs, right? It's a back and forth game, and then all of a sudden, it's a missed call that goes against them, like we saw last year, or it's a pick six in the red zone, same game that like we saw last year, and it's just like it. And that gives the Chiefs just enough cushion against this Charger team to secure the victory. And again, this is one of those, like, if you're the Chargers, it's like you know you got the right guy in Justin Herbert. Like it's like you got the guy because, like I said, this was 17-17. He's showing that he can match Pat Mahomes because he did it. He was going back and forth with him, right? Pat Mahomes threw a pick. He threw a pick. It's just that his interception was more costly than the one Pat Mahomes threw.
I mean, he basically took guaranteed points off the board. That ball gets batted in the air, he gets picked off.
That's just misfortune because, like you said, like it's a ball batted in the air. Like that's just unfortunate right there.
And to the final game, the Sunday night football game, as the Philadelphia Eagles welcome in the Miami Dolphins into Lincoln Financial Field, and they win that game by 14 points, 31-17. Tua Tagovailoa, 23 of 32, 216 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Raheem Mostert, 9 for 45. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. Caused Izzy a FanDuel thing by 3 yards. Like that's tough. And then on the Philly side of this, Jalen Hurts, 23 of 31, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He also had a rushing touchdown along with Kenneth Gainwell. A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert both had receiving touchdowns. A.J. Brown can literally not be guarded right now in the NFL. Like he just over 125 yards again for 6 games in a row.
Yeah, but the continuing trend this week, more terrible officiating. 5 good penalties on the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, we're not going to sit here, TJ, and watch that game on the Lord's Day, right?
On the Lord's Day.
Not say that James Bradbury, oh, shit, is that a water bug in my room? And not say that James Bradbury didn't grab Cedric Wilson's face mask. How many times did we see holding from the Philadelphia Eagles and they didn't call it?
On the Lord's Day.
On the Lord's Day of all days. Show ass down.
I think the football gods were like, yeah, I guess we missed that call because he immediately had that fumble return for a touchdown right after that, or the pick six. Yeah, pick six.
But no, like that's and that's the gripe. It's so like they like the Eagles get credited for playing a quote unquote mistake-free game because it's how ironic is it that if they get called for a penalty, the Dolphins also got called for a penalty, and guess what? The penalty's offset. So it's like it never happened.
I mean, penalty yards alone in this game, 10 for 70 for Miami, 0 for 0 for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Like, come on, bro. Like
they didn't. Like, they'll have. But back to the non-official, non-referee stuff. Philadelphia imposed their will in this game. Like they were balanced. They were balanced on offense. They 34 rushing attempts. They average. They got 99 yards rushing in this game. Jalen Hurts was pretty efficient in this game, 23 of 31. He did have that one interception, but Philadelphia won this game without. They would have won this game without.
Yeah. There's no denying that, but this just also goes to show you that Miami can't hang with the upper echelon. They can beat all the bad teams, but when it comes to playing the quality opponents, they don't show up. They play too. Look at how Buffalo punched them in the mouth a couple of weeks ago.
They say they played too, and they've been outclassed in both of them.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? First off, it should be illegal to be as fast as Tyreek Hill is,
Yeah.
because that's just like, hey, bro, like it's like what can you do with that? And I had it in my head. I swear to God, I did. Oh, and again, one thing that outside of the officiating, David, another thing that everybody keeps bringing up is the brotherly shove, or whatever the hell folks want to call it. Again, I don't think the issue is the QB sneak itself, right? I think the issue is Jalen Hurts getting pushed from behind, and the defense can't. Like it ain't like it's like the defenders can't do that. Like they can't put a linebacker behind a defensive tackle, and the linebacker push the defensive tackle.
If you try to use leverage as a defensive player, that's a 15-yard penalty.
That's a 15, right? So but using leverage as an offensive player is perfectly fine, and that's the gripe. That's where people are pissed off at. It's like,
well, I think
the
the other thing is players are getting injured. Other teams' players are getting injured attempting this all the time.
And I guess Pittsburgh.
The New York Giants lost two offensive linemen. The Raiders
was a neck injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Raiders had a guy got injured. I think against the game against the Bears when they tried it on Sunday. So
and so everybody up in arms about saying the NFL should ban this play. Nah, how about you do something to stop it?
What exactly? Like again, it's one thing if they say, okay, defenders, you can now on QB sneaks or plays like that, you can now use leverage to stop it, but they're not going to do that. Like a linebacker cannot line up behind the nose tackle and push him into the offensive line, and somebody come up behind the linebacker and push him. Like they're not going to allow that. But two, 3 dudes can line up behind Jalen Hurts and push him.
Yep.
Like that. Like how?
So I think if the play does get quote unquote banned, it will not be because it'll be for safety. Like players are getting hurt doing this move, and the NFL is all about quote unquote safety. I think if there is a change to this rule. If there is a change to this rule, it'll be because of safety.
They're just gonna say,
it won't be because nobody can stop it, and no other team can seem to do it effectively. The Philadelphia Eagles seem to have this ace in their hole all the time.
Dave, you know what it's gonna be? They gonna say you can't push the QB no more, because
I mean that's the rule in college, right?
Yeah, but hey, you know who has the highest QB sneak win percentage? Like you know who's the most successful QB sneaker of all time? Tom Brady. Tom Brady never got pushed from behind. Tom Brady went 20 years. He has like a 90-something% success rate on doing QB sneaks.
This is a conversation for another time.
No, it's not though. If Tom Brady, who is the least physically imposing quarterback figure in the history of the NFL, if he can do that and get a 90-some% sneak win rate, Jalen Hurts, who squats 6,000 pounds, we saw him do it. You don't need to get pushed from behind to convert a QB sneak, bro. You squat 6,000. I saw the video. Yeah,
but thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. That's been our Week 7 so far recap. We'll be back here tomorrow when we're breaking down Monday Night Football. We're also going to give you our preview and predictions for Week number 8. You don't want to miss that content. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman. Right there, my co-host, TJ Hawkins, and from the Daily Blitz blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. And gentlemen, what do we do? What do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring
the heat.
We bring the heat. That's correct. Man, it's supposed to be 70 degrees here in Fort Wayne tomorrow. So y'all have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.